Welcome back for another product review on Dirt Bike Channel. I like doing these things, and I've tested a lot of products over the years, and a lot of times I don't really even say anything to you, because sometimes I'm like, well, does this really even move the needle? But in other cases, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tell you about it anyway. And today I wanna talk about this Baja no pinch tool. This is a tool that I've seen for years and years and years. It's been around for quite a long time, and I'm just now finally getting to it. And I wanted to show you what this is. Now, I bought this on Rocky Mountain ATV. You can use my link down in the video description, and it doesn't cost you anything, but it does help support me. You can click on the link and then buy anything Rocky Mountain ATV sells, and that helps me also get you entries in to win that bike and the other bike that I'm giving away if this is in the month of December. But let's talk about the tool. So the tool is a no pinch tool to help you to, essentially it does one thing, and it does that one thing really well. We'll talk about whether or not that's something that you're interested in, but it helps you to not pinch the tube at the very end of the tire change. Now, at least that's how I feel. But anyway, if you're one of the broad swath of people who uses tubes, then this tool might be for you, and it really helps at the very end. So I'll probably be rolling in some clips of this tool in action as I've used it here the last little bit. Let me just give you a rundown though. So the tool comes in a few different pieces. Generally, like for the most part, you've got the tool that you're assembling. You're adjusting this little piece in here with a set screw. After you put your little claw, I don't even know what you call this, like your arm in here. You want this adjusted so that it's not too tight and it's not too loose, and so you'll thread this little piece up here until it's the right distance, and then you'll tighten down the set screw. Now, I bought like the ultimate kit here, and it came with a bunch of different, well, 3 different axle sizes, and then also a sleeve. So you can do 4 different axle sizes, which was actually really good because when I tried it on my trials bike, I needed one of the smaller, I needed this blue one, the smaller one, a smaller diameter little axle piece here to fit down through the you know, where the axle goes on your rim. So you want to check and see what axle sizes you have, but the tool is not cheap, especially since if you're going to have to buy all this stuff, I'll throw up the price that I paid online or on the screen here, but to buy all this stuff was actually pretty expensive. And that's my biggest hesitation with this. I'll get to that in a minute. But so here's what I noticed, and I tried multiple tires, and I took a couple tires on and off 4, 5, 6 times and put them on, and was trying to really learn how the tool works and what and who it's really for. And really, it's, in my opinion, it's helping you with the very, like, you've got the tire on like halfway on the bead. You've got the tube inside the tire there, and now you're just working it around to get the last few, you know, the last few spoons if you're using a spoon. And that's where this tool is really helpful, where you're not going to pinch the tube. However, so, and in that case, it works really well. So for that one use case, it works really well. But here are some of my hesitations with it. When you're using the tool, if you got a tire on this thing, you can't have this centerpiece, this centerpiece that helps you to kind of use your spoons, because here's another thing. This does not help you take the tire off at all. So this is not replacing your spoons. You're still gonna need tire spoons, because you're gonna use these tire spoons to remove your tire off the rim, okay? So these you cannot get rid of, you're still gonna need these. And I used those even when I was putting the tire on, at least for the first side, the first bead, getting the first bead down. Because it just seemed like it wasn't really helpful for me. It was kind of awkward and didn't really help a ton to get that first bead down on the tire. I also noticed that I was still needing to use a bead buddy to kind of help make sure that my tire stays down on the bead. So I was still using my tire irons and my bead buddy to really make this work effectively. So now I've got the tire down halfway on, you know what I mean, halfway on, and you cannot use this centerpiece of your tire changing station. That can't be there because this piece has to drop down through, okay? So that creates some challenges. So now you're taking this piece in and hopefully, and if you have a tire changing station that this cannot remove, then you can't use your tire station with this guy, and you'd have to use like a 5-gallon bucket or something like this. So then you'd set the rim down on the 5-gallon bucket, and then stick your Baja no pinch tool down on there. And now you're lower to the ground, which isn't the end of the world, but I just want to be able to use the one thing. So that's what I noticed, is I'd have to be taking this part, this center support thing in and out all the time if I'm going to use that tool, because it cannot, I mean, it's annoying if you're not using this centerpiece to take the tire off, your tire's just flipping all over because you can't use any leverage really. You're having to really hold the tire. I didn't love that, okay? So then at the end, at the very end, then I'm using the tool. That's where it really helped me the most. And yes, I can get the tire on, and it does solve that problem. So if you do have a problem where you're pinching the tubes at the very end, those last couple of bites on the tire, because we all know those are the hardest ones, then this tool really helps. However, I just don't know, like, I haven't pinched a tube in a long time. I used to pinch tubes all the time. And so I kind of feel like this product is maybe for somebody who's just kind of getting started out. And if you're having a problem where you're pinching tubes at the very end, this tool could actually be kind of a lifesaver for you, but it's pretty expensive. So it might be for you. Although there are some other people that are like, hey, just learn, and I know it's going to be down in the comments. I don't read the comments typically on YouTube, but I know there are going to be some people down in the comments to just say, hey, just learn a proper technique of putting, spoons in and not putting the spoons too deep and being careful. And you'll be able to not pinch your tubes without buying an expensive tool. And I agree with those people as well. However, there's different strokes for different folks out there, and this tool does solve that problem of not pinching the tube at the very end. But for me, if I'm gonna look in the camera and say, is this something that I am going to be using all the time? Probably not, because it's solving a problem that I actually no longer really have, which is pinching tubes, because I haven't pinched a tube for years. Because I've developed a little bit better of a technique, and so I'm not pinching the tubes. And then for me, this tool makes things and this is just for me, and I hesitate to say this because, look, I bought this tool for full price. It's one of the reasons why I bought the tool for full price. They offered to buy this for me or to send it to me, but I wanted to pay full price for it just so I could tell you exactly what I think. And here's what I think. For me, because I don't have a problem pinching tubes, this just makes it more work. I'm still going to use my tire irons. I'm still going to use my bead buddy. And I still want to use my tire changing stand, but now I have to take this centerpiece in and out because I want this centerpiece on when I'm taking the tire off. It just makes it easier because I can, leverage against it. But now when I'm going to I'll have this centerpiece in when I'm putting the first half of the tire on, but then once I want to use the tool, I have to take this piece out. And for me, that's just that's making it a little bit more complicated. And then at the end, this tool does work. It works as advertised on that one thing of that last half of the tire, getting it boom, 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 getting it down on the bead without damaging the bead really at all. You can still kind of tear the bead of your tire just a teeny bit with the end of this tool. It can but I would say that this is going to make your bead a little cleaner, possibly, if you have a susceptibility to tearing the bead or whatever. This could be helpful. But tearing the bead really isn't much of an issue if you're using tubes. Tearing the bead is more of an issue if you're using tubeless, and this didn't really help me at all on tubeless. So there is that. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So again, it's a pretty cool tool that does solve a problem. And if you have that problem of pinching your tubes at the very end as you're putting those last few spoons in, then I would say go ahead and get it. Or you can just kind of learn how to kind of put the spoons in kind of in advance. Like at the end of a tire change, those last few things, sometimes I'll stick one tire iron in where I know it's going to get hard, and then I spoon it to there, or put one of my spoons in, and then I spoon it to there, and then I just flip it over, and it's totally fine. So you can either solve your tube pinching problem with practice and technique, or you can buy this tool and it will it pretty much solves that problem for you at the very end. Either way, there's multiple ways, as they say, to skin a cat, and I wouldn't say that there's any super right or wrong way to do it. I've seen people change tires different ways, but I've just kind of developed something over the last many years that works really well for me. So you're gonna have to decide if this tool is worth it for you. At this stage of my career, with how many tires I've changed, it probably isn't going to be a big deal. for me. But it actually might help my boys as they start doing more and more of their own tire changes. We'll just kind of see. So I'm gonna kind of let them use it. So I'm not like, it's a nice tool to have around the shop. How much I will personally use it, I probably won't use it a ton. But you can buy this thing on Rocky Mountain ATV. That's where I got it. Use my link down in the video description. It will help Dirt Bike Channel out. It won't cost you a dime. You can click on that link and then buy anything they sell at Rocky Mountain ATV. They got free shipping over 75 bucks. And if you're doing this in the month of December or any other time, we're doing a Dirt Bike Channel sweepstakes where we're giving motorcycles away. You buy this thing or you buy anything else Rocky Mountain ATV sells, you get free entries into the sweepstakes. So you can also get entries in there if you buy a shirt from me or a hat or tie downs or anything off of my website at dirtbikechannel.com. So thanks so much. Hope you enjoy these reviews. They're honest. I don't pull any punches. Maybe the company who makes this thing isn't gonna be super happy with me because I didn't give a glowing review, but that's why I bought the freaking thing with my own money, so that I could say whatever the heck I wanted about it. Solves a problem that I don't really have. And so that's kind of one of the funny things about this gig is there's a lot of companies, aftermarket companies, that make a lot of products that are trying to solve a problem. And sometimes they invent a problem that they try to solve. I'm not saying they did that here. There is a problem with people pinching tubes. I used to have that problem. But now they're solving a problem that I no longer have, but maybe some of you might have it. So give it a look if that is your issue. So thanks so much for watching these videos, and let me know what other types of products you'd want me to review. The best way to do it is to email me, kyle@dirtbikechannel.com, because I don't usually look in the YouTube comments. I just don't have an appetite for that these days. Haven't for a long time. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully everyone has a fantastic holiday season. Merry Christmas, and leave a single track.